Hi everybody, welcome back to Critical Mass. Well, we went and saw Dark Fate, Terminator, the newest, the 6th film.
Incredibly epic.
Yeah, well, we'll find out. There's a lot of commentary out there, and we're going to cover that as well as give you a review of what we think the movie is. It any good? Okay, first off, they bring back Arnold Schwarzenegger and Linda Hamilton, which I am a fan of.
Yes.
I've been waiting for that for a while, that they're actually starring in there. But they do some things that kind of take away from the canon of the original stories.
Well, let's be clear. I mean, this was an incredibly epic first 3.5 minutes of this movie.
If you don't mind erasing all the canon of the previous 5 movies.
Right.
What did you think?
Okay, so the return of Linda Hamilton and Arnold Schwarzenegger, I was kind of looking forward to it because when everybody talks about strong female protagonists, they always say Ripley and Linda Hamilton. But I didn't like what they did with Linda Hamilton's character.
They threw it away.
She was supposed to be like a badass, but she was over the top, and I didn't believe it. It was too much, and I did not. Her character didn't endear itself to me, so I wasn't fond of that. For Arnold Schwarzenegger, we know him as the Terminator, the relentless cyborg that comes after the good guys, and now he's
Or the Protector. In T2, he was the Protector.
okay, but now he's a house husband. Now he's a domestic.
Yeah, they've domesticated the Terminator.
But if you think about it, the Terminators are sent back. They have one mission. And their entire mission is to become human, look like a human, fill in like a human, and finish their mission. Well, once they finish the mission, Connor's dead. What do they do now?
But
they continue to
Now,
be part human and fit in.
but while we have indications that they can learn new material, we don't have any indications from any film that they can feel empathy and regret and
Well,
that
no,
kind of
that's
stuff.
that's not quite true because you have the T800 that came back the first time. He did not have the programming to feel emotion and empathy, but the T850 that came back did.
Now, what version is this?
So from the original Terminators, the T800, from T2 was the T850.
Okay.
And so he had the algorithms to be able to feel emotion or at least replicate it.
And regret and guilt for the mission that he was sent out to do.
Well, I don't know how the programming would have evolved in all those years.
Either way, out of everybody in this movie, Arnold Schwarzenegger was the best person in this movie. I even liked some of his jokes, his deadpan T2 kind of humor, right? That worked. The rest of the movie, the gung ho, they toss out. Let's go into it. They virtue signal left and right all through this movie.
Sure,
Well, here's what I see. Remember, the first movie is a human is sent back to protect the mother of John Connor.
right.
In this movie, they make it a point to say, it's not important that you're a mother. That's not why it's important. You're not a mother. You're the hero going forward. Miss 5'1" female, Mexican.
But I don't have a problem with that.
No, neither do I.
Like,
She wasn't believable. She wasn't believable
there was a
as
whole
the hero.
That's my point. I didn't believe her as the hero of the human
okay.
race. I'm
That's
not.
fine.
I don't care about the female stuff.
But you said virtue signaling, so I'm thinking you're talking about all this woke stuff.
Well, this is what the director puts out and the producer puts out. And that's what a lot of comments were on. This is what this is going to be, and this is what this is going to. As far as the character itself, I didn't believe her as a strong female lead character that saves the human race.
So this movie, it's been released now for we're going. Can we add spoilers?
Yeah.
Spoiler talk.
It's out.
Okay, spoilers. Okay, so in the first 3.5 minutes in this movie, they did some age de-aging.
Which was amazing, by the way.
Amazing CGI.
Like,
on the
super
de-aging.
good.
Completely believable. You thought, wow, they must have filmed this right at the end of T2.
I thought it was the original kid for John Connor.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm
that's-
going, Gemini Man, you should have learned from this. That's how good it was.
Fantastic. But what they did do is they killed off John Connor, who the entire Terminator series has been about up until now. They killed him off in the first 3.5 minutes to make room for the sort of woke version that we got.
Okay, well, this is what I'm saying. I'm saying this was not a woke movie. Like, there was a whole big circus of marketing and criticism on YouTube about this. Oh, it's all about SJW and feminism and everything like that. No, they rebooted the movie. We can have a discussion about whether that was wise. And they decided to have a female-led movie. Arnie was still in it. He was the man. The other villain, Cyborg, was in it. He was a man. But the three leads happened to be women.
At the end of the movie, no man was left alive.
Okay, that's fine. That's absolutely fine.
Well-
They decided to have a female-led movie, okay? There was nothing in this movie that cried out, oh, this is just a feminist agenda. Okay.
Some of the trouble was, it's not so much the movie itself, was the advertising and the actual people involved in the movie, the problems they do. What was the very first thing they bring out when they're talking about the movie? They bring out the poster with the 3 female leads and say, oh, by the way, Arnold's in it too. But Arnold's not. Can you imagine if Arnold and Linda Hamilton were on the main poster saying, this is the new Terminator? People would have been excited, but no, they have to have the 3 female people.
The marketing for
was
this
stupid.
movie, the marketing for this movie, for Captain Marvel, for Ghostbusters,
Yeah, it's all dumb.
it's being done by people making a lot of political agenda mistakes.
Yeah. And that's Hollywood,
I'll agree
folks.
with that.
That's just Hollywood.
And it probably to the detriment of the revenue for this movie.
Oh, yeah. For the revenue for everything.
It's taken a hit. I'm kind of worried about my November numbers now.
Okay, so enough about the wokeness. The movie really isn't woke. There's some moments in it that they change, but let's look at the movie as a movie on the whole.
Let's look at the reboot.
Yes.
They rebooted this movie in a certain way. How did you feel about that?
Well, okay, so T2 had some really eye-catching CGI. It was groundbreaking at the time. So you would think that as many years have gone by that we would see a tremendous leap forward. But when the evil Terminator was jumping up these scaffolding or climbing really fast, I found it looked fake. The CGI just wasn't there for this movie, and it could have been very easily, but it took me out of the fantasy.
This was T2, just redone. Right down to the truck chasing scene on the freeway.
It was redone, but not redone as well.
No, but it's literally that scene. And then it's them running and them finding a factory place at the end of the movie where they can fight off and hold off the new Terminator.
Exactly the same
It's
thing.
the exact plot of the exact first movie.
So I'm seeing a trend, and tell me if I'm wrong. This is exactly like the new Star Wars.
Yeah. Well, they did this movie so that they could set it up for sequels.
Because you go in, you replace the main characters, you alter the timeline so that, Star Wars, you don't have the Empire anymore, now you have the First Order. And now this one, you don't have Skynet anymore, you have Legion. We don't know what it is, but apparently we're supposed to be afraid.
It's about the same thing.
T2 gave us some explanation about why Skynet took leaps and bounds forward and how these Terminators became self-aware because when they came back in time, they used the hand in part 1 to advance their technologies and make the Terminators even more deadly in the future, and Skynet was a huge deadly force. In this one, they don't give us any kind of an explanation. They just say, okay, well, you guys destroyed Skynet in T2, so now it's Legion, and they're pretty much the same thing. But they've given us no explanation on how this affects the timeline and how the Terminators are more deadly or less deadly, or what they're capable of or what they're not capable of. It doesn't give us any of that.
It worked kind of for the new Star Trek movies with Chris Pine. They altered the timeline. Now they could do whatever they want. They don't have to follow the legacy of Star Wars or Star Trek. And Star Wars did it, and it sucks. And Terminator did it, and it sucks. What other perfect series are they going to ruin next? By trying to just change the characters and change the timeline, and we can do whatever we want. It doesn't work because we only like it because of the original.
Yeah, well, that seems to be the trend. So
now-
Hollywood, take note. Stop doing that.
They're not taking it. They don't care. Now, if we were to take this as not a sequel or not a reboot and a movie on its own, was it entertaining?
I'm going to be honest. I was getting bored during a lot of parts of it, and it was basically a lot of the same thing. Running over here, running. It was like The Hobbit to me. The Hobbit was just a lot of running, and that's all this movie was. It was running and then resting, and then running and resting some more.
One of the problems I had in this movie is the main character sent back is an augmented human. And she can go in quick spurts of energy. But once she does that, she gets kind of exhausted and she starts fainting and collapsing and she needs medication and water. That happened like 9 times in this movie. It just seemed to happen every single time during the movie, as if it was a plot point to say, okay, now how can we slow them down so the Terminator can catch up? I know, we'll have her start to do this and start to... Half her visuals was of her out of focus on the scenes around her, kind of blinking like this, what's going on, and it got annoying to me after a while.
I liked the villain Terminator. I liked how he had the symbiote stuff and the actual metal Terminator on the inside, so that there was 2 of them. I thought that was awesome. But I didn't care about anybody, and I didn't care about anything.
No.
I didn't feel a sense of dread. I hope they win. What are they going to do now? I was just waiting for things to happen. As an action film, I think it was completely mediocre.
Yeah.
As anything to care about, it was a fail. Paramount's going to take a bath on this one, and I don't think we'll ever see another Terminator movie ever again.
I think we will see Terminator movies because they will still believe that there is money to be made, but I don't think we're ever going to see anything of the caliber of T2.
Well, remember, this is probably Arnie's last turn in Terminator, and what do they have to draw people back to a Terminator film? Unless it's 15 years from now, we're not going to see a Terminator film.
No.
That's true.
They should have gone with an actual war Terminator movie that people might have actually liked.
Like maybe they were in the future with the cyborgs and Skynet and there was a resistance.
Yeah, and real fighting, not just 5 or 6 guys, 6 or 7 guys and females.
They should have introduced another more built Terminator to take Arnie's place. Somebody like The Rock, somebody you like.
But
The Rock would not touch this with a 10-foot pole.
They shouldn't have rebooted it. They should have progressed it because we've seen the Terminator come back and chase people.
Yeah.
We've seen that over and over and over again. You can't just keep doing that over and over again.
See, when the first 3 minutes when they kill off John Connor, I went, okay, all right, I get it. It's a reboot. Let's see where they go with it. Well, you know where they went with it. They went to the most boring, mundane story around, and they did the exact same story they've already done.
Right. So to me, it's kind of a fail.
Out of 10, what do you give it?
I'm gonna give it a 6.
5.
I'm with Paul. I give it a 5. So yeah.
Check it out.
I guess what we're saying is coming to Netflix soon near you would be the best way to view it. And even then, only if you're bored.
Yeah. If you've gone to see it, tell us what you think.
Yeah. And we're sorry.